Hey everybody, it's Dove Hammer, and I'm back at you with another harmonica tutorial. So the subject of this one is, well, it's a little bit general. I'll tell you what it started from. It started from the fact that last week when I put out the tutorial about the song On the Road Again, and in the comments someone asked me why I play it differently when I do it live in my own shows. And that made me think that there's a few interesting things I could say about that. So I just started with how I generally open that song in my shows. If you go back and listen to the original, listen to mine, you'll see slight differences. There's a few things to say about that. First of all, I generally, before I cover a song, I like to not study it too deeply because I want to approach it with something very fresh. I don't want to literally sound like I'm trying to imitate somebody, even if it's somebody as great as Alan Wilson from Canned Heat. I like to come at it fresh and have my own kind of sound. So what I like to do is, I've heard the song enough times so that I have a general memory of what it is. What sticks in my mind is the basic idea, the root idea of the song, what gives it its flavor and its power, and I use that. This probably started out in the way I learned to play because I learned to play a long time ago, back in the days before internet, and actually I'm self-taught because I could never find someone in my area who played harmonica. So I taught myself how to play harmonica, listening to a lot of records, round vinyl records and cassettes. But I never had a teacher to show me the right way to do things. I learned a lot of things the wrong way, and I probably took a lot longer to learn things that would have come faster if I had someone to show me the right way, but that's another question. But it also did help me develop my own kind of sound, my own approach, which saves me from sounding too much like other harmonica players, which is important because it's an instrument where there's a lot of copycatting going on, and if you got something that's original and fresh, it's kind of nicer, in my opinion. Specifically, also, I learned to play live very early on. I hooked up with a mentor, a musician named Ted Cooper, who was just playing all the time. And he took me to play with him in clubs, on street corners, in halls and festivals, everything. Sometimes just the two of us acoustic, sometimes with the full electric band. And Ted would never tell me what song he's going to play. He wouldn't tell me what key it's in. He wouldn't tell me anything. He'd start playing. And the general idea, unspoken idea behind it was, if you got something nice to add to this, play. If not, don't say anything. So I learned to listen and play what sounds right. And he was a walking jukebox. Ted Cooper was a walking jukebox. And every show, even after years that we played together, every show he'd still pull out a song that I'd never heard before, never played before. And that's why there were many, many songs that years later I'd turn on the radio and hear that song. I said, where do I know that song from? I said, oh, yeah, I used to play that with Ted. But I only heard the original years later. And that also helped me develop a fresh approach to songs. Someone else wrote a song, did it originally, but I never heard the original. I reacted to the music I was hearing from Ted Cooper's guitar, and that's how I learned to play. So I don't remember when the first time I played On the Road Again was, but here's what I was thinking when I came up with this. I had a general memory of the groove of the song and the general gist of the root of the feeling of the song. That's what I'm looking for. What is it? What element in this song makes this song special and makes it cool and fun and sticks in your mind? So On the Road Again, as I mentioned in the tutorial where I showed you how the original is played, first of all, there's the groove. There's an incredible musical, rhythmic kind of thing going, that rhythm. Now, when Alan Wilson plays the harmonica on there, he's not doing that whole rhythm all the time. He's implying it because there's a whole band there doing it, drums and bass and guitars and everything. But when I find myself live in situations where I'm playing with musicians who've never played the song with me before, And that happens to me a lot in the blues, that I'll play with musicians who are playing with me for the first time or haven't played a certain song with me. So generally, I'll give them a quick rundown. I'll say, listen, this song is in the key of E. It's got one chord in it, no changes. And you want to hear the groove? Let me start it off. I'll give you 8 bars. And after I've played those 8 bars, you'll know exactly what you got to do. Good musicians will know that. I'll play something. They'll hear the rhythm that I'm playing, and they'll fall right in. So that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about this rhythm that has doom, 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 doom. Now, Alan Wilson plays it part of the time and plies it some of the rest of the time, and most of the time is relying on the bass player to push that ahead. So when I play the song, often, again, lots of times with musicians who like that I'm jamming with, I'll play it like this. I'll start out with what's actually the bass line, that. So that'll immediately give the drummer and the bass player the idea of what they have to play. As soon as they hear me play those couple bars, bass player and drummer can fall right in and do it. That's number one. Number two, this song, as I said, one chord. It's all in the chord, in the key of E, in the chord of E. No changes there. It's all dum ba bum ba bum ba bum. Doesn't go up to any other chords or anything. That it's based on. It's one of these kind of blues drones. It's based on the blues scale. I'm going to do a separate tutorial on what the blues scale is and how to play it, but so that'll help you to come back to this. But that's what Alan Wilson is playing throughout on the road again. He's just going. He's doing all kinds of things, playing around with the blues scale. So what I'm doing is all part of the blues. So I start off with this. This is the basic, like I said, the bass line of the song. And here's the important thing, this part where it goes up. I'm not sure Alan Wilson actually does that, particularly not in the intro, or no, maybe he does, but I'm doing it a lot more. Why? Because I want the bass player to know that he's got to do that, and the guitar players to know that they have to go up there. This is a drone on the blues scale, and it's just going boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom. But every third bar, it goes. Here, I'll count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, on the third one, it goes up. So I'm doing that all the time. Sometimes it's confusing for the other musicians until they figure out which bar you do that one up, the third. It's kind of odd, but once you get used to it, it makes sense. So this is why I'm playing that riff. I'm going on the intro, I'm going straight up to that. Now, the second part where I went up to here. You know what? I was playing it off the top of my head. I hadn't sat down and studied it note for note. And I didn't remember what he does on the second part of it. So I did something that keeps that groove going and takes it up a little bit, makes it, special, because I was playing in the low note. Suddenly I went to a higher note, kicks it into a higher gear, staying in the blues scale up here. So that's my thinking behind when I'm sort of jam this, my way of doing On the Road Again. And one last note about what I said about not playing things note for note. I often don't play things note for note because blues is not classical music. It's not meant to be studied that deeply and played note for note. You're supposed to bring your own interpretation to it. Listen to all your favorite blues artists. They're doing songs that somebody else did before them. They're doing it differently. That's the point of the blues. It's not classical music. It's not meant to be played out of sheet music note for note. That said, it's a very good thing to study what other players have done, to learn note for note a solo by Alan Wilson or by Junior Wells or James Cotton or whoever your favorite harmonica player is. That's a good thing to do because as an exercise, to do it at home when you're practicing, pick out because you'll get all kinds of ideas from it. You'll learn how some other player was thinking. It'll spark an idea for you. But that doesn't mean you have to go up on stage afterwards with your band and do it that way, because that's already been done. Take the song, take the root idea of it, the general feeling of it, and what makes it special, and give it your own interpretation. So I hope you found this interesting and helpful. If you did, I'd be happy if you clicked like button's right down there. I'd be even happier if you subscribe to the channel, because I got all kinds of good things on this channel. Lots of harmonica tutorials, clips from my live shows, a lot of my original music. And if you have any questions, please write them down in the comments section. I promise to answer every comment. If there are requests, if you want me to make a tutorial about a particular subject, write it in the comment section. I'll try to fulfill all of those requests. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.